3, 2, 1.
La da la da 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 la da 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 da. Da 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 da
Game is just a little bit of lockjaw. Baby, so goated from the north, they from the Canada.
Da da da. Bienvenidos.
Welcome to episode 4, Cuatro Seis Siete. Last episode, we discussed the difficulties and absurdities of political parties, and we also created our own. Go check that out on YouTube here, episode 3 of Stories from Saturn. This week, we're talking about a candid conversation about Kentucky. Good old Kentucky boys. The good, the bad, and the future. John, do you agree?
And the bluegrass.
And the bluegrass of states. Hi, my name's Scott. And you are?
Salutations, my name is John. Smooth. Smooth skating so far.
And, unfortunately, John, there is an announcement that I do have to make about myself
go ahead
here.
And break everybody's hearts. Let's go ahead and just announce that.
Let me start off by saying that it's nobody's fault. John and I are both grown men that want each other to succeed here, obviously. I am creating a travel channel called Only Within, and my passion really lies there.
Your passion's only within that project.
It's only within. It's going to take a lot of time for filming, editing, and more filming, honestly. We're going back this weekend for a second shoot at an undisclosed location as of right now. But in the next coming weeks, you can go to youtube.com/onlywithin.
Are you going to Area 51?
I fucking hope I can get there. Honestly, that'd be great. If I can get clearance, I'll let you know. So
you're just ejecting yourself from the space shuttle is what you're telling people. Exit ramp for you, my friend.
Lying in my own little shuttle right now. I'm going to miss this podcast.
My first reaction as I sit back on my throne as the rightful king of the North.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to House Stark. Pew! Rockin' Ghost here. The pack stands together. The pack survives.
Right.
Swivel. The pack survives.
The pack is
are you
alive.
leaving the pack?
For now. We'll see what comes in the future, maybe.
Look who's a Lannister now, buddy pal. Yo, that one came full circle.
I'm not a Lannister. You're a Lannister forever and always. I'm Jon Snow. God.
Murph. Don't leave, Murph.
But in all seriousness, no, I am going to miss this podcast. It was a very, very fun endeavor, and I do appreciate you inviting me out.
You will be dearly missed. Was it episode 1 you claimed you are Jon Snow?
I think so.
Which I agreed with.
Roll back to episode 1.
Who's Jon Snow now? Because
Still
I'm
me.
beyond the wall by myself with these wildlings.
Wilding up, boys.
I'm just orbiting out here. I'm literally McConaughey orbiting without a purpose.
What are your plans for the podcast? Where do you want to go?
All right, folks. This is going to be an uphill battle as we try to break through this entertainment stratosphere. Mm-hmm. You know and I know right now, I probably don't have what it takes to lead this show solo. But I'm not going to quit.
Right.
Unlike the Titanic ship made of pewter, my fate is not going to be fatalistic, not going to give up. Going to try to have a revolving door of guest hosts.
Nice.
On a more serious note, Scott, greatly enjoyed this endeavor of ours. I think you're going to crush it at your show.
Thank you.
Super excited for it. And maybe this gives us a moment to all reflect on in life. I know I felt this more since Kobe's tragic passing. You know, life is very short. So I think it's important, like Kid Cudi, to be on a pursuit of happiness. And I'm excited you're doing that for yourself. And I wish you all the best.
Thank you. It means a lot to me. On that lighter note, two things. One last question for you about the future endeavors for yourself there. This will not be happening, by the way. There is going to be an episode 5, just so you all know as well. So there's going to be another episode after this one, so it's not coming immediately. We did want to end on a nice single chapter of a story here, and then you are going to be rebranding it, you think, or still on the fence about where you're going with that, or just so people know about where you want to go with that?
As of this moment, I'm thinking salutations from Saturn.
I like that.
Salutations from Saturn.
From Saturn.
From
Saturn.
Saturn. I shouldn't even say that. Saturn doesn't deserve that shot
that
there.
Shade.
That shade. The shade.
Don't throw that
shade on
shade.
Saturn. We just rain on everything. No, going a different direction. A whimsical direction. Salutations from Saturn right now.
Nice.
Is the preliminary.
I like that. That's
strategy.
good. All on
Podcast.
On all podcasts.
Real
Anchor.
podcast.
Anchor it up. You're going to be
Networks.
anchoring down, boys. Shout out to Anchor. Moving forward on a lighter note with that, then two on topic, not topic, but discussion, our whole discussion about Kentucky. We're going to start with the good things of this beautiful, beautiful state of ours. The bluest grass in the seas.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah, boy. We're going to do a little bit of tennis here. I'll be Roger Federer.
You can't be
Nadal.
You can't be Federer. You're such more of a Nadal personality too.
Nadal. I also don't know who
Roger.
either of these people are off the
Let
top
me
of my
have
head.
Roger.
You could be Federer. I just know
let
their
me
names
flex.
from when we are at our undisclosed location or where we are. We have it on the television all the time for the games. So that's the only reason why I know their names. And maybe, honestly, one other tennis person. But, anywho, I digress. We're going to go a little back and
All right,
forth
Rafa.
here. Rafa.
Go ahead and rock out.
Nadal! So, one of my favorite things about this state is Southern hospitality.
Shout out to Ludacris.
Southern hospitality and just the amazingness of how just the generosity and like the way that like, so I want to use my grandmother as an example on technically it's on my brother's side, who my brother is actually a stepbrother. So not even really a real grandmother by blood by any means. Like she was never related to me. But when my mother and my brother's father got together, they just accepted us as one. It's like one unit of family.
Mamas are mamas.
Mamas are mamas. All shapes and sizes of them. But they... My grandmother, though, was just an amazing, amazing human being. She unfortunately passed away due to cancer. God rest her soul, about 4 years ago now. And I still think of her every single day about, the way I live my life is really through her generosity of who she was. And she would give you the shirt off her back. Like, truly, if you were somebody she did not know and you were struggling, she would take care of you, no matter what it cost her. Food, water, shelter, she was there for you. If you needed a ride somewhere, she got you. No problem. No questions asked. No money needed. It was just something that she did, and she gave her time to the community. And that really showed, honestly, when she did pass away. There were literally hundreds of people that came to the visitation. There was the family part, obviously, which that was huge in its own. She had 19 grandkids, which is crazy.
Whoa. Lineage.
Some claimed on family, some not, but still, nevertheless, it was just an amazing, amazing woman. And I absolutely think of her heart and soul every single day. And she is what I think of when I think of Kentucky as Southern hospitality. That's who it is her.
Southern heart, man.
Southern
That's
heart.
just all
She
heart.
has it all. What's your good thing about this beautiful state of ours?
Speaking of beautiful things, I just think the beauty. First of all, that was a beautiful tribute.
Thank you.
I feel identical emotions towards my grandmother. I mean, grandmothers are just saints. I mean, it's really like they are the tree. Like they start it all. we really owe everything back to them. They teach us so much. A grandmother's heart is the most valuable treasure. Dare I say the most valuable treasure known to mankind. It's an energy reservoir. It's a renewable source of energy that is limitless. So I thought that was a very beautiful tribute from you. Kentucky, to me, it's the beauty of it. And I see some parallels, I agree with you in the generosity of this state. Your car could break down in so many different locations throughout this state. Not only could you knock on the door of that household and that family be willing to help you, they'd probably say, why don't you stay for supper? We got fresh cornbread cooking. Come in. Travis is in there playing Gears of War or something. He's got an extra controller. He's probably yelling with his friends right now. I don't even know what they talk about. Hey, but we got some ribeye tonight, some greens, mashed potatoes. Boys. You love mustard greens.
I do.
So that generosity is what I'm saying. That's unique. You go to bigger cities, different states. It's just not like that.
Yeah.
That's part of the beauty. I think, the nature, Kentucky's natural amenities, from something as simple as like in Marcy, our family enjoys going just to the Arboretum for little walks, but we got Raven Run 15 minutes away. The Gorge. I mean, people come from all over the country for Red River Gorge. There's just so many different trails and options and adventures there. Cumberland Falls, the Niagara Falls of the South.
Right.
It's powerful. It's one of the only places in the world where you can see a moonbow.
What is a moonbow?
A moonbow is what it sounds like. It is like a rainbow with the moon.
No, it's not.
Yes.
Are you serious?
There's a calendar.
I've never seen it.
I haven't seen it yet.
I would love to go on an adventure and see that.
Sounds awesome. But there's literally like a calendar for it, but there's variables, moonbow. Cloud cover, a moonbow. One of the only places in the world.
I'm pretty sure. I didn't even know that.
It might be, I don't want to say 2, but like there's less than 5 maybe in the world. Others might be in South America or Africa.
That's absolutely
And then
crazy.
Cumberland Falls in Kentucky. So Kentucky's beauty, I think we all appreciate the Kentucky sunsets. That's something that's so hard to beat. So the beauty within the people, the generosity, the humbleness, just kind of the work ethic.
Yeah.
Along with just the natural landscape. Horse farms, I think you and I both agree, we love to see horses roaming free, those stallions.
Of course.
Those thoroughbreds need to be free and running.
Riding hard and fast out
gloriously.
there.
The beauty of the state is where I start off with that.
Nice. No, it's definitely beautiful. And I honestly did not know, learning a lot, honestly. So that's another little thing is like there's always this is not to talk about the show a lot that I'm starting with only with them, but that's actually one thing that did pique my interest is that there's a lot of things that go unturned in this state. Like there's a lot of stones that nobody knows about. And it's just really cool to be able to like start this adventure for Only Within and like be able to unturn those and be like, oh, whoa, I didn't even know what that was. That's there. This is that. Like, it's really, really cool. I didn't even know what a moonbow was.
Listen here, Sergeant Stone.
You told me.
You turn that thing over like Hermione Granger's time turner. Yeah, one of the only places in the world.
That's impressive.
In our humble state.
And I didn't even know about it, honestly.
The more you know, Scott.
And I love Cumberland Falls.
Scott.
I grew up on that falls. Like, truly. Like, Cumberland Falls and Cumberland Lake. Beautiful. Beautiful areas.
You just paddle your canoe on down. You grab your glass of wild turkey, all right, and you get your oars, and you get your attitude in check, and you go find yourself. You find yourself.
And find a moonbow.
Go bask in the glory.
Baskin Robbins.
No free ads.
One of my things, honestly, as well, that I love about this, and I'm going to bring my grandmother back, because she truly, this is, when I think of Kentucky, I think of her every single time. The food, man, just southern living. Just to talk briefly about the dinner that we just had a second ago. Let me tell you, beautifully done chicken by your lovely girlfriend there. It was delicious. Just this It's just fried chicken,
Herbs.
baby.
Herbs,
And
dog.
spices. There's a reason why Kentucky Fried Chicken's so damn famous. 11 herbs and spices. But not only that, just not even the mainstream aspect of it.
KFC's overrated. Let's give a shout out to our local chicken.
Yes.
Okay, we're talking
local boys.
Indies, Richie's, Grimes, local establishments.
Ramsey's Diner.
Wonderful
Another great
people.
place.
Also the people
that run that
those
place.
Oh, the best. The best chicken, the best people. That's Kentucky.
Hands down. Hands down. I only go to those places like briefly for like the fast food ones like Raising Cane's, Zaxby's. They're good, just quick little bites here and there. But dude, you can go in, you get yourself some fried chicken, man.
It's a commitment now. It's a commitment.
But it's just delicious, dude. It's just delicious food. Mustard greens, gravy on everything. Baby, let me tell you, come on in there, honey. You eat some of this cornbread. This fresh baked cornbread, honey. It's just good, dude. It just mixes so well with the Southern hospitality aspect of it and the food. It just takes you, like, Southern food is nowhere else. Like, when people come from like the North, they say two things when they come to our little establishment that we work at. You're the nicest. You're the nicest person I've ever met. I don't know why I'm doing a Southern accent, but Jesus Christ, I don't know. I don't even know what that is. They're like
Lincoln Park hybrid theory.
They're just like, you're the nicest person I've ever met. I really appreciate you. I don't know. It's just a weird voice. But anywho.
That was Percy.
They're just like blown away by the food and like the hospitality. And they love that. And they're like, you truly are like really helpful. And the food here is just delicious. Like I could literally die eating this food. Like last meal, I'm coming here. I'm coming back home, baby. And there's just so many different styles of food as well with behind it. Catfish, another great dish.
The food just takes you places, kind of.
Truly it does. You can end up in some weird little areas.
It takes you down Gluttony Avenue.
Enough about the food, though. I'm going to go on forever. What's your second one? I'll go on for days.
I did not start with this because there's more to life than sports.
Of course.
Kentucky basketball, it really is just a tradition of excellence, and it's so just surreal at times to really take a step back. Fans can get so caught up with how's the season's going. Like right now we're 24-6. We start out 8-3, and people think the sky is falling. Tennessee, but
get out of here.
That game was frustrating, but so proud of how the season's gone. But fans get so fixated on that. Sometimes we just need to take a step back and appreciate our humble state of Kentucky.
Right,
we're number 1 in all-time victories in basketball, 2nd in championships, number 1 in all-time wins. We've been good really like every decade ever. So to have that winning tradition, I love how it brings people together in March.
Oh, yeah.
Because there really is like a spring awakening. It's warmer outside. Are you also just getting ready for boot camp over here?
I wasn't going to tell you, but I'm really hot, so I just wanted to like raise my shirt up a little bit. It's just really hot, so I'm just balling out, guns out. Suns out, baby.
All right, Kenny Powers. All right, Kenneth. Back from Kenneth to Kentucky. The name of the new podcast, From Kenneth to Kentucky. Sponsored by Ashley Schaefer.
Last 2 episodes.
And the farmers markets, the freshest plums east of the Mississippi. Okay, what are we talking about? Kentucky basketball. Yeah. It's basketball, y'all. The Wildcats. Wow.
The boys.
It's a tradition unlike any other, and it's in our state of Kentucky that we don't have a ton to be proud of. We do have things to be proud of, but in comparison to other states, we don't have a ton.
Right.
And to have that tradition of excellence and this powerful prestige.
People come far and wide for this.
It's a treasure. Like, it's a treasure.
Yeah.
And it makes so many people happy going through. I mean, so many people have different walks of life. It really unites people. I think we all love it. We live and die with it, emotionally at least. But the best thing about Kentucky basketball is how it brings people together, and it gives our Commonwealth a sense of like excellence to protect.
I would agree with that.
and cherish.
Now, I don't know a ton about Kentucky basketball myself. It's something that I'm growing into. As you said, it brings people together. So dumb question, but just not to talk about sports the entire time.
It's so hard to like take you seriously with these sleeves right now.
I'm hot, dude.
You look like you're ready to suit up and check into the game at power forward.
I'm ready, baby.
And you're gonna go throw some bows. Isaac Humphries.
But another thing about the Kentucky basketball too is that we do also send a lot of players to the NBA too, right? Okay.
Correct.
I know we have a lot of NBA players from past years of Kentucky that are now professional, doing great. John Wall, one of my personal favorites. John Wall, love that guy. And then Anthony Cousins as well.
Who is Anthony Cousins?
No, I got two of them mixed up.
Hey, in Kentucky, we're all cousins. Hey now, ain't no big thing.
What's his name?
We're all cousins.
What's his name?
DeMarcus Cousins and Anthony Davis.
Yeah, I got them mixed up.
All right, back to you. Hey, Federer, backhand, back to you.
Where I'm about to go now is where I should have went when I said that comment. I'm going to the wilderness, boys. I'm going out and living my life.
Go get you a cabin, boy. Boy, go get you a cabin out there.
The wilderness, though, man, is one of my absolute favorite parts. So, like, I grew up in a smaller town, which I do have a gripe about as well. But it was just so cool to be able to go from the city to then immediately, less than 5 minutes to 10 minutes away, I'm just basking in the wilderness. I got my beard and my hair just everywhere, no shirt on, and I'm just walking my way. I'm walking up to the Red River Gorge.
You're not in the gorge. That's like 50 miles away from what you're talking about. Although the Sheltali is vast and deep, maybe it can get you there.
Yeah. Well, but I love that it's just like, and my other favorite thing about the wilderness too is not only can you get into it very quickly from a Kentucky standpoint, but there's also, quickly going back to my food thing, there's a lot of restaurants hidden in the wilderness. One of my personal favorites is Wallace Station. That's kind of like hidden in like the backwoods.
That's not in the woods.
Area. There's a pair of woods.
There's a tree line
in front of it. There's like a woods.
There's a tree line. It's lined up from horse farms.
If you keep going back though.
First of all, shouts out to Wallace Station.
I love Wallace Station.
The wonderful Wallace Station.
What's their like famous sandwich there?
Midway. They're all famous.
They have a good brown, hot brown. Hot brown. Anywho, though, but there is like a little part though. I remember because Adam, our friend Adam, and I, and you actually went there, and there's like a little packed part of it. Here's Wall Station, right? All right, this is for the locals.
5 trees there.
No, if you keep going back though, there's more. Dude, there's more back there.
We passed probably like 20 horse farms on the way there.
Fine.
It's just land.
That's fine. I like land. That's part of wilderness. Like getting into like, there's more land, and not every city has that. Not every city, like if you go to Chicago, for example, you're not going to find that. You're not going to get in that area. It's just a little breakaway. I'm just saying. It's not my main point.
We were able to pet the horses. We parked on the side of the road, which was so, that was such a small but significant moment that they just came out. There's 5 just, thoroughbreds to just walk up and you can just pet them.
There was also that one that has like his tooth, like he's
just biting the fence.
He's just like biting it, just like pulling, like
I don't know what the point of that was.
Pulling away.
To each their own.
Just a weird dude. He was showing us a good time. We had a good time hanging out. He was cool, man. We just got done eating. I had a blast back there, man. But it's the little things like that, though. Mm-hmm. That is Kentucky right there, is what you just described. We go from Wallace Station, shout out once again to them, to then we're petting fucking horses 5 seconds down the road.
Just riding so Seabiscuit.
What's your number 3 there? Let me send it back.
This one, I will say, this one's a double-edged sword.
Okay.
So this goes in 2 different directions. I'm going the positive direction here. Mm-hmm. The simplicity of Kentucky can just be spectacular sometimes. There's a serenity that comes with this state. There's a calmness. Mm-hmm. Sometimes predictability is a good thing. Sometimes you need time. You need the airspace, the setting, the scenery to be able to reset from this chaotic world we live in that is just completely overwhelming in so many different ways. So, you go to a city, you go to Las Vegas, you go to Chicago. when you go to big cities like that, it can just, like you said, there's not a lot of landscape there, and sometimes like the concrete is fatiguing. Just
concrete jungle, baby.
The concrete jungle, and just the fast paced, culture itself, even for a few days or a week or so, it can be a little overwhelming. So coming back to Kentucky, I always enjoy Kentucky the most, like coming back to it. It's important everyone travels, expand your horizons. There's not everything is in Kentucky, so you got to get out there in the world. But coming back to Kentucky, you really feel like you're going home. Like Kentucky, I'm proud to be from Kentucky. I know you're proud to be from Kentucky. I know so many of you watching right now are proud to be from Kentucky. There's a wider world out there to be explored, and your ventures may take you elsewhere, and your calling may be outside of here. But what a hell of a state to be from.
Yeah.
And that's where I always gravitate back towards, is what better roots than Kentucky.
I agree. I think it's great. Now, I know we love our state, but damn it, there's some problems here sometimes too, though. Why don't you go ahead and kick us off on the problems there? You serve match 1 for both of us tied. Continue on with the bad problems of this state, though.
You have a guess. So, being friends for 5 years. Yeah, dog.
5 years and on.
Onward and upward. On 2 different space shuttles. Maybe our orbits will unite one day.
I'll fuel you up one day.
What the hell?
Fuel you up.
Fuel. You really enunciate that one. I'm going to crash your ship. I'm going fighter mode.
When the spaceships align.
We're going to Star Wars mode, which I've never seen. I've never seen Star Wars.
I can't even get into that with you. I can't even get into that with you right now.
Each other.
That's just insane that you've never seen that. But you love like Harry Potter, like.
And lately, Game of Thrones. I'm a late
skip that.
Late bloomer,
skip you.
Late adopter of Game of Thrones, but
making
up for a passion.
Fuel you up though. Fuel.
I don't need your fuel. Damn it.
As we like parallel, like maybe I'll drop a little. Nobody saw that on camera, but it's just like a little. Continue on though. Continue on.
What a segue here. Okay, so the negative. So I was gonna say we've been friends 5 years. We've been podcast and creative rivals for going on just a little bit. Just kidding. Maybe. Do you have a guess, knowing me and working together? We effectively worked on and off together for what, like 3-ish years?
Almost 4.
Almost
probably.
4.
Yeah, I would say almost 4.
Almost 4. Do you have a guess as to what one of my biggest pet peeves are that I'm going to go with for a negative within Kentucky? Friends of the program, this should surprise absolutely nobody.
I think you don't like the...
All right. Station pause for pausing for station identification here. Let me just cut through the smoke here.
Yeah, tee me up here.
Smoke screen. Listen, we might be number 1 in all-time wins in college basketball. We're also number 1 in lung cancer deaths, and that's this brutal, horrific, just disgusting tobacco industry. It's taken out so many in our state. It's passed down. Before I go like any further into this, I want to approach this topic with compassion, that I'm not trying to vilify and demonize and just call out those who smoke, because there's a lot of layers to it. It's passed down. Of course, it's like chemically habit forming. So, I know some people shouts outs. If you can stop cold turkey, that must be, just from talking to people, it sounds like it's like grueling.
Yeah.
Also, to be fair, my aunt worked for the American Lung Association, so I've had the other side propaganda like from day one. But the facts are, and medical research is on this side. But what I'm trying to say is, it's the industry. It's the evil of the industry from being able to advertise, like literally like athletes.
Yeah.
They had athletes not that long ago, like dipping into that. It was really like the late 90s really took a stand of anti-tobacco. So it's been passed down for so many generations in this state. I think I think the the cavalry of vapors out there fighting the power. I think we're turning a corner with it. We're still number one. We're still the only country, and it's a disappointment. I'm going to focus more on like the industry and the corporation, the evil corporation it is as a whole. It's very unfortunate for the state of Kentucky.
Yeah, truly. I mean, that's taken family members of mine for different cancers, for lung cancer as well, and different types of cancer that maybe could have been related to smoking. Maybe we don't know, honestly, but it's a terrible addiction. Fun fact, by the way, for you, in the 5 years that we've known each other, I don't know if you ever knew this.
Where are you going with it? You said fun fact. Where you're going? We're talking about the tobacco industry in the state. So I'm so curious what you're saying. Fun fact right now.
Fun fact about me.
Okay.
Is that I actually smoked for a little bit.
For how long?
I smoked for about 6 months, off and on for 6 months.
Why have we've never talked about
No,
this?
we never talked about it.
That's shocking.
I never knew a good time to tell you until now.
I mean, because right now, like, you'll just have a Corona every once in a while.
Right. Yeah.
Wow.
Two now.
Wow. 6 months?
6 months. You know what I smoked?
I don't
Marlboro
even
Reds.
Those sound terrible.
They're one of the more harsher cigarettes, you can say. I don't know why. I just picked it up
You're
randomly.
seeing red.
Yeah, I just picked it up randomly. And like the time that I like stopped quitting was when like my mom came over to my apartment. It was when I was living with Eric Terry.
Shout out TT.
And yeah, I smoked cigarettes for a little bit. My mom came over and she's like, "You want to go outside and smoke?" And I was like, "Oh, whoa." I never thought I'd heard that word from my mom.
What?
And then like that kind of like broke like my barrier in my head to be like, you probably
Well,
shouldn't be
I'm glad
doing
you
this.
emerged from that.
So, yeah, but
wormhole.
I mean, I wasn't on, the levels that some people are, of course. But
What's yours? What's your number one? What are you starting off
one
with?
one of my bad things here is it could definitely be too small at times, honestly. Everybody knows everybody, and that's a good thing and a bad thing at times. It's a double-edged sword. If something happens with me and I don't want other people to know, mama's baby mama's getting it all figured out before I even tell anybody. And I grew up in a town that had about 7,000 people in it. Now it has about 9,000, which is still really, really small. So, it's a double-edged sword. It's a good thing, bad thing. But you run into the same people constantly. That's why I left for a while. I just had to get out. Went to Florida for a couple of years, reset myself.
Flow
riding up there. And, now I'm back and I enjoy it. Obviously, like you said, it's nice to come back to. But, you've got to get out occasionally and get to see this world because there's so much more outside of Kentucky. And it's just a lot at times, honestly. So that's my number one thing on my bad list here.
I agree. It is an aquarium. I mean, even being born and growing up in Lexington, Lexington is too small,
right?
On many occasions. So, yeah, sometimes Kentucky can get a tad claustrophobic.
I agree with that. What's your next one? We got about 11 minutes remaining in the podcast.
All right, so let's kick into gear. Coal industry is really corrupt, and that's not to take away the brave men and women going down in those mines,
right?
Just working their tails off. I mean, you're talking about blue collar work. I mean, they're heroes, and that's for most of them like kind of the only option. Like that's how you support your family. That's life.
Yeah,
you
Hunger
really
Games
alternative.
at times, honestly.
That's a
It's
fair.
like the Hunger Games out there.
It's a fair analogy, but just with tobacco, the tobacco industry, it's so evil, it's so corrupt, it just exploits. So it's these big corporations coming in to Appalachia and exploiting, just small town cultures and tearing up the land. So they're just not mining it right half the time.
Yeah, and
tearing up families. I mean, there's the ramifications in horrible ways, like health-wise, it's pretty endless and incalculable. So I lump, tobacco and coal in there together. That's really frustrating for the state of Kentucky. And that's not to call out at all, those actual coal miners.
The people,
get that Friends of Coal get those Friends of Coal license plates the out of my face.
Yeah.
Oh, on your BMW, you're going to have a Friends of Coal? Get the out of here.
Friends of Renewable Energy. Yeah, my grandfather was a coal miner. His father was a coal miner as well. But they actually were able to transition from coal when that ran out to woodworking or from for wood cutting, but not everybody has a sawmill in their backyard. So a lot of families unfortunately suffer and don't get to have that option. When they run out of coal, it's poverty time, unfortunately, and it's a sad thing. And that's why I definitely agree with you on that. And it's a terrible thing that should be regulated better, which we are going to get into the future of Kentucky as well that we hope for.
Before we get into the future, I'll just finish real quick.
Yeah, hit me.
This is probably like my biggest pet peeve with the state of Kentucky is there's just a state of like backwardsness too often. Not always, but in a way of thinking, and that's culturally, that's being open-minded, accepting of everything from other cultures, walks of life, nationality, ways of thinking. There's a ritualistic, hamster wheel sometimes Kentucky gets on.
Yeah.
It's just kind of just like rejecting change, and change can lead to progression. And I think a lot of times we just get the state just gets so stuck in their ways. And so we've got to break free from that. And that gets us to where we're going into what do you want to see in the future of Kentucky?
I want to see, so going off of that backwardsness, there's a lot of racism in this town in Kentucky as well at times, and it may not be fully intentional at times, but there's a lot of subtle racist comments that I hear in my day-to-day work, where people will come in and we have this third-party customer care department that a lot of them work overseas, which is, them trying to work for their lives. Obviously, they have a livelihood to keep up with, and people will come in and be like, I don't want to talk to them foreigners. I don't want to talk to them. I can't understand anything they say.
They literally say it just like that.
Truly.
I can't handle them talking to foreigners. It's like, whoa.
Dude, like that's like nails on a chalkboard.
And they think it's okay just because they're talking to us. And it's like, oh, so all bets are off at this point? Like, no. Like,
I know we've corrected people before about that.
Yeah, if it goes too far. Oh, I'll throw them out the store if it crosses a line.
Yeah, because I have family members that are of other nationalities, and I have nothing but respect for my family. And my father is Mexican, and I have nothing but respect for the Hispanic culture. And I've seen it from firsthand experiences about how hard they work, and like their whole culture is just such a beautiful, beautiful thing put together. And I'm proud to say that I'm a part of that culture as well with them, and I stand with them every single day. So it just nails on a chalkboard when I hear these things, from this backwardsness, like you said, of that.
People are good, people are great, people are bad, people are evil, but it's all walks of life and every different culture and background. We're all one people into the day. We bleed the same blood.
Right.
So that's it's definitely with the state of Kentucky. But where do you want to see us? Like, where?
I want to see progression, honestly. I want to see proactive movements of us going forward and stepping away from these deep shadows that we have of our heritage here in Kentucky, because so much of that backwardsness started hundreds of years ago. And I will say, in the defense of this state, we are moving forward. Is it slower than other states?
So slowly.
Yes, so slowly. But generations like yours and I's come together, and we're moving this state forwards for something to be proud of. I don't want to be, number one in lung cancer. I don't want to be one of the most impoverished states in America. That's not what I want for my children and my people after me that come, and my ancestors, built something, but I want to continue to build on and make it a better place for my future of my kids and their kids, obviously. And that's something that I want to see. I want to see, more progressiveness when it comes to renewable energy and tech companies coming here and enriching our lives with better jobs besides coal, besides woodworking, besides this or that of a factory as well. I really want to see more of the progressiveness that I believe that our state and our world can benefit from, truly. What about yourself?
We're 47th in the country, poverty-wise.
47?
That's embarrassing. And you know what's most frustrating is we're playing ourselves with that. We're blocking our own shot.
Right.
So speaking of being stuck in our ways and ritualistic, get McConnell the out.
Yeah.
Get him out. All he's doing is
Not helping
padding
us.
his own bank accounts. He cares. He's loyal to corporations, not Kentuckians.
Mm-hmm.
So stop voting him in. If we want change together, get him out.
Right.
So let's have a renaissance. We have some of the most fertile farmland in the entire country. The rest of the country is profiting from marijuana.
Yeah.
Let's flip-flop marijuana and tobacco. We're going to have, okay, first of all, alcoholism is going to go down. DUIs are going to go down. I'm going to stop banging the table. There's going to be less lung cancer. Mm-hmm. There's going to be more jobs. It has to be regulated. No one is saying it has to be regulated. But that tax revenue, Colorado is swimming in cash right now.
Yeah.
Straight cash, homie.
Swimming. Shout out to Kendrick Lamar.
When I was out, I've been out in Colorado
and
had conversations like hiking the Rocky Mountains, and they say, "Oh, you're from Kentucky." Conversations go in many different directions. They're like, "Oh, it's kind of interesting. Kentucky has some like fertile farmland that would be better for this than Colorado. So if they're doing it, making this much money,
what could we make?
Let's use the transitive property here."
Right.
Kentucky would make so much revenue. States all around us, Scott, we're triangulated by states that are swimming in cash with legal gambling.
Virginia,
you and I are on the same page.
All of them, yeah.
If you have a gambling problem, that's on you.
Right.
Figure it out.
Of course.
Get help. There are therapists out there.
So many helpful
Talk
things
to
out
someone. But it's already happening online and everywhere. People are just driving from Kentucky to Indiana and giving Indiana the profits.
That's what my mom does. Truly. We go
That's
to
what so
Indiana
many
to
people
gamble.
do.
We go to Indiana to gamble.
Look how simple this is. Let's take our agricultural powers that be.
Right.
Let's fuse that together with legal and regulated gambling and legal and regulated marijuana industry. Ixnay on the tobacco. Hey. Toodaloo tobacco. Get the hell out.
Right.
You're not doing anything but destroy our state. Let's flip-flop all those, fuse them together. Then we have revenue. So when you have revenue, you have happier, healthier families. Education is better. Families can afford to go on vacation to enrich each other's lives, their children's lives. It gets passed down generations. Our state starts having progression.
Right.
That's where I'm at. Then we start moving forward. We got to do things differently to get there.
Truly. I agree with you on that, honestly. And it's something that I hope, for our last podcast, we did talk a lot political topics there. And, as I said previously, I hope to inspire some people with this. There's only one more episode after this, but to leave this behind for maybe some other person to come by and pick up, by accident, they stumble upon it and they listen. Scott and John, I'll listen to you. Let me see what I can do. And I just hope that, the world and our state truly listens to this. And I think that there could be a lot of good things that come out of this, honestly. So any closing thoughts on your side there before we wrap her up here? I know you.
Well, speaking of corporate entities, how could we fund this endeavor without a word from our sponsors?
True that.
Salutations, all you supporters of the Second Amendment. Are you looking for an efficient and fashionable way to tote all 37 of your guns? Well, look no further than the Flock of Firearms Utility Belt by Armed by Armani, the new collection. I didn't write out the rest of the ad, and I just now realized it right now. So what are we going to come with on the fly here? With your unique polyester hybrid blend, all guns of all sizes are welcome, and your bumper stickers will adhere to the hybrid flex technology fabric in the most delightful way.
Child lock included.
Child lock included. Safety first. To all you crazy. Nothing too. I'm a gun owner. Okay, I just, all right, that's where the ad ends.
That's funny.
I have one gun. Is for self-defense. Is locked up, stored safely.
Yeah.
I know how to use it. These people, 10 plus guns. Like, what are you doing? That's another thing about Kentucky.
Right.
Like, Can we not? We don't need like assault rifles. That's only military. You don't need that.
Shotgun and pistol, baby.
Can we
That's all
just
you
find
need.
some balance? That's all we're trying to do on this podcast in this world. We need balance. So understand the right to bear arms, but like you don't need 10 guns.
Yeah.
Like calm it down. But those that have 10 guns probably get mad that I said that.
It's okay.
So there's some really good people, but like let's keep it on a swivel out there, y'all.
Balance is important with everything. So, but that is our 46-minute podcast. Now, do you have any closing thoughts?
Do you want to say anything else more profound? I would
here?
hate to end the podcast. That was such a terrible way to end the show. You want to talk about next week?
Next week.
What we're doing next week?
It's going to be kind of a free-for-all, if you will, there. It's going to be a all-hands-on-ship kind of podcast there. Or ship. I meant spaceship.
Where did the Titanic go? I don't know. Oh, it's right here.
In front of you.
It's sunk. The podcast is sunk.
All hands on the spaceship. I really want this next episode to be really fun and enjoyable for both of us there. It's going to be blasting our final episode off. And I'm excited for it. I'm definitely excited for the future. I can't wait. Maybe next week I'll have that episode out. Maybe we'll see what happens for the Only
Are we
Within
gonna
show.
vow that next week's episode will be on all podcasting platforms?
Maybe even this episode will be. We're hoping and
Hopefully.
praying that we can get it. It's just for those that are wanting to start up a podcast yourself, make sure you do the research beforehand and understand that time takes for processing is a lot longer sometimes than people think. So, but we do really appreciate you listening on YouTube. Like I said, last podcast, we know it's a lot for people to sit down and listen to this on that platform. I wish you could just lock your phone, but you can't. But we will do our very best to have this episode on everywhere you listen to your podcast. And definitely the last episode on there. And then other episodes will also be on the podcast platform too. So,
Like you said, it's going to be a free-for-all.
free for all day.
Free-for-all.
I'm bringing a metal chair. I'm gonna
Whimsical
WWE wrestling
audacity
style.
shenanigans. The topics will be tubular.
It's gonna be a cage match.
Conor McGregor, I don't give a
I'm bringing a title belt. But it's been really fun, and I'm really excited for next episode, obviously, too. But that's it for us on Stories from Saturn.
From House Stark and all of us in the North, salutations from Saturn.
See you, Space Cowboys.